Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whenever you're watching this video, hello again. Rick Grimes for President here, bringing you yet another Walking Dead review video. And this review video is focusing on The Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 14, The Grove. And I can't believe it's Episode 14, guys. We have 2 episodes left on this season. This season, I think, in my opinion, has flown by the fastest. That's crazy. We have 2 episodes left. I mean, at least this second half of the season. The first half of the season kind of went by at a normal rate for me, but this second half of the season went by super fast. So 2 episodes left. Episode 14, not season 14. I don't know if it'll go that far or not. Everybody might be dead by then. Titled The Grove. And what a great episode this was. I really enjoyed this episode. It took a very dark turn, which I think they should have been doing since season 1, taking these dark, gruesome turns like this, just to make the viewers be like, did that actually happen? Did they actually do that? Like, how did they get away with that? And that's what this episode did. So if you're watching this and you haven't seen the episode, obviously there's going to be spoilers in this review video because I'm going to be talking about what happened and my thoughts on what happened. So turn it off now if you don't want to be spoiled. Let's get right into it. This episode was focused on one group and one group only. A group we haven't seen in like 3 or 4 episodes. Which that group consists of Tyrese, Carol, baby Judith, Micah, and Lizzie, the 2 sisters. And the last time we seen them, they had seen the Terminus sign and they were searching for Terminus. Carol came back and they were searching for Terminus. And so right at the get-go of this episode, they're all kind of they're moving along the road and they're camping out, and we see some really good scenes with Carol and Lizzie. They're talking about the world they live in and all this other stuff, and Lizzie's basically telling Carol that she thinks that her sister Micah is weak, and Carol said, she doesn't have a mean bone in her body, and then they were talking about Sophia, and so this was some really touching emotional scenes, but some really good acting between the 2 characters. And then Micah and Carol talk a little bit, and that's a cute type thing because Carol's trying to, this whole episode, Carol's trying to tell Micah things she needs to do to change, things that she needs to be able to focus on, like she needs to, like if she has to kill a living person and not just a walker one day, she's gonna have to do it. And Micah, she says the whole episode, I can't kill anybody living. So this whole time Carol's focusing on Micah when she needs to really be focusing on Lizzie. Tyrese, he's still hurt at this point in time. I think, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I am, I think he got shot or cut. Something happened to him that he got a cut or whatever, an opening in his flesh that is hurting him. So he's kind of groggy and kind of out of it this episode. He sleeps like 2 or 3 times this episode and has some weird dreams, which we find out later are about Karen, which he still doesn't know about Carol and Karen and David, but he finds out in this episode. So he's kind of sleeping. He's kind of there. He has some good scenes, but it's mainly focusing on Carol, Lizzie, and Micah. So as they're traveling down the train tracks, as we know the train tracks lead to Terminus, or what we think, whatever. We don't know what this leads to or if it's fake or whatnot yet. So they're going down and they decide to stop, take a little break. After, they're chatting and stuff like that. And we finally find out who was cutting open the rabbits in the prison, which was Lizzie, after some little inside conversation between Lizzie and Micah that I don't think Carol or Tyrese picked up on. And so we're traveling along, and we have a kind of funny moment where Tyrese and Lizzie see a walker, and the walker falls down and gets caught in the train tracks. But Lizzie tells Tyrese, we don't have to kill them all, and kind of talks Tyrese out of putting a hammer into that walker, which at the beginning, we think, or like at the beginning of the episode when that happens, us viewers think, well, that's a pretty good idea. You don't have to kill them all because whatever. But we find out later that it's because Lizzie wants to make friends with that walker and feed it rats. So I think then again we find out who's been feeding the walkers rats at the prison. So it was Lizzie all along that basically Lizzie, in my opinion, screwed everything up for him. Like, she's the reason the fence came down because the walkers were piling up on that fence. Like, she's the reason a bunch of stuff happened at the prison, which is crazy to think about. So this whole episode is kind of like an emotional battle with Lizzie. Lizzie doesn't understand. She completely doesn't understand anything. And Carol tries to explain to her that these walkers are walkers. They're dead. They're people that have died and came back as these walkers. They're not who they once were. They want to kill you. They want to eat you. They're not good. They're bad. And the only way to protect yourself from turning into one of these monsters is to kill them. We know that. Lizzie doesn't know that. Mika knows that. But she can't get her sister to focus on that either. She thinks they're all the same. She wants to make friends with them. She wants to play tag and whatnot with them around the tree, which is that crazy scene when Carol's, boiling the water. So they travel along the road and they find this cool, it's like a pecan farm, however you say it, pecan, whatever your taste is. But they find this little house grove, and it's a pretty nice place. It has barbed wire fence around it. It's a house that's still, kind of taken care of, or looks like it hasn't been touched. It's got a gas stove that still works where they can make stuff. It's got, a well with water. Like, it's almost like Herschel's farm, really. I mean, so they start talking it over, and they decide, maybe we don't have to go to this terminus place. Maybe we can stay here at this grove. Maybe we can stay here at this house. And so Carol and Tyrese kind of agree that, maybe they can do it. Like, there's deer. They saw deer right when they walked up to the house. They could have food. They could live here. They could do this. And so pretty soon we find out that it's not as safe as we think. As they're walking to the house, they see the smoke, which I assume was from the house that Daryl and Beth burned down a couple episodes ago. And so they see smoke, and they're wondering where it comes from. And later on, we see the cool burned walkers that I guess are just attracted by the noise of whatever. Not too sure. But anyways, this is some of the coolest makeup I've ever seen on the show. If you guys agree, then that's awesome, because, I mean, this makeup was so cool. It was just charred bodies. You had your crispy, you had your extra crispy, you had your, whatever. Like, they were so cool looking. They were still smoking. They were blackened. They were awesome looking. So these were some of the coolest walkers on the set, and especially, like, when they shot them or put a hammer or knife into them, like, it exploded, and char and tar and black smoke and everything went everywhere. It was really cool. So they find out that this house might not be as safe as they think, especially with only 4 people, and basically the only people that can do like heavy work is Carol and Tyrese, who can fortify the area and stuff like that. So Carol takes Lizzie out to, I think it's Lizzie. I believe it's Lizzie. No, maybe Mika, actually. Not sure. One or the other. Yeah. Anyways, takes them out to teach them how to hunt, to maybe step the children up a little bit to find out if they can, handle their own around the place, to find out if they can live there or not. And so, I mean, this whole episode is Lizzie figuring out, or trying to figure out, and people are trying to explain to her that this world is not what she thinks it is. And that's when it takes a dark turn, because Carol and Tyrese go out to deer hunt, I assume, and they're talking about the place and if they should stay there and whatnot. And as they come back, they see Lizzie standing there with a knife in her hand and blood all over her. And, viewers and then Carol and Tyrese, they're all wondering, like, what she killed? Did she kill a walker? Did she kill an animal or what? And then it pans down and we see that it's her sister. It's Mika. And so she killed her own sister. She didn't stab her in the head either. She stabbed her so that in the heart or somewhere so that she would die. And Carol and Tyrese, they don't know what to do. Like, they want to help, but Lizzie's standing there with a knife and they're freaking out. They don't know what's going on. And Lizzie tells them, just wait. She's going to come back. She's going to be fine. Just wait and see. She's going to come back. I didn't stab her brain. She's going to come back. And Carol says, she's not going to come back as Mika. She's going to come back as one of these monsters. And Lizzie just doesn't understand. And she thinks that, when they come back, they're just different. And so this is when a tough decision has to be made, because they don't discipline Lizzie right then and there. They're sort of just freaking out and don't know what's going on. So Tyrese gets Judith and goes in the house, and Carol leads Lizzie in the house. And then Carol, ends Mika, stabs her in the head, and then buries her. It's the only way, you can get them to go. Or they bury him later on. And so then, a little time passes. They don't know what's going on. They've all, been sitting there eating dinner and just kind of like nonchalantly talking, but, not really, can't really take anything in. And so Carol asks Lizzie to come outside with her, and Lizzie comes out. And she asks Carol if she's mad at her, and Carol, doesn't respond. And Lizzie thinks Carol's mad at her, so she starts, crying and getting really upset. She goes and stands by this flower patch. And we know earlier that when Lizzie gets, kind of really excited and really upset and kind of like has like an anxiety attack, something happened probably in their past where Mika tells her, look at the flowers, Lizzie, and just focus on the flowers and breathe and calm down. And this, we see earlier on in this episode that this calms Lizzie down. So Lizzie's crying. She thinks Carol's upset with her, and Carol tells her, Carol backs away from her a little bit, and she says, Lizzie, just look at the flowers, and you'll be okay. Just look at the flowers. So we see Lizzie, looking down at the flowers, trying to get over her anxiety attack. And as she does this, Carol has a gun in her hand, and Carol puts the gun, aims it at Lizzie's head, and pulls the trigger. And Lizzie's dead. So Lizzie and Mika both die this episode in dramatic, really saddening fashions. And, Carol, Tyrese watches Carol kill Lizzie, from the window, and I think they've decided, they decided earlier on, that her not being here is the biggest, decision they had to make, because, there was no way that Lizzie could stay there, especially with Judith, because Tyrese and Carol would be doing most of the heavy-duty work, and Lizzie would be watching Judith, and they know that Lizzie would most likely try to kill Judith, or one of them even. So, it's not like one of those things where an adult the same age as you or, whatever threatens you and you can kill them, because that's a little bit more justifiable. But when it's a child like that, when Carol has to kill a child like that, that's a tough decision to make. But it was the right decision to make in her and Tyrese's eyes, because there was no way of talking Lizzie out of what she felt like and what she believed. So this was a really, really hard episode for viewers and for probably the cast and everybody else to do, because they had to go so dark and heavily emotional with this. So like I said, I hope they continue to do more episodes like this. There's only 2 episodes left this season, so I'm not sure where these 2 episodes are going to lead us. There's a lot of unanswered questions that we still don't know, and there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that we need to know and we need to get to and find out. So I'm not sure how this season's going to end. I don't know if it's going to end in a dramatic, crazy fashion, or if it's going to end like slow and like suspenseful, or what. But it's going to be good, and they always do a pretty good job with their season finales, or they have, in the past. So I'm really looking forward to it. I know I didn't cover every single aspect of this episode, but the whole episode, like I said, was just basically focusing on Lizzie's emotional struggle, and then it coming to her demise, and some really good, group in that group, some group moments. And at the end of the episode, I told you this before too, that Tyrese finally finds out about Karen and David. Carol tells him about it, and he does the adult and man thing to do, and like a hard decision for him too. And he forgives Carol because he gets mad at first, but you can't be really, after all that just happened, like he can be mad, but he can't do anything about it, because that would be a terrible decision. That would just leave him with Judith, and he needs Carol. He really does need Carol right now. And yes, he's probably pissed off that Carol killed Karen and David, but he has to do his best to get over it. And so I don't know if we're going to see any kind of scenes maybe bringing that back up, bringing the past back up later on, or if Tyrese is kind of going to float over it and we're not going to hear about it anymore. Overall, this was a really great episode, dark episode, slow paced, but ended with very dramatic fashion. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Leave a like if you liked the video. If you didn't, refresh, give it another try, and then like it if you liked it the second time, and then keep repeating until you get it the like. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Share my video. I'm trying to get my views up there, so please, please, please share my video, even if it's with 2 people, 3 people, 1 person, whatever. 1 view helps, 2 views help. Doesn't matter, just views in general. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next Sunday for the next review. And 2 episodes left, guys, so I'm only going to see you guys 2 more times until the next season. So enjoy while you can. Bye.